Greetings, Mech Warriors, and welcome to This Week in Comp for the week of September 30th, 2024. This week saw the first bracket matches in the CS24 tournament and the three-way tiebreaker for 9th through 11th seeds. But before we get to the results, let's take a look at some clips. All right, first up, we've got the Dark Sea Corsairs versus the 10th Lyran Guards here. We're looking at Carbon Fire and Bacon here with, check that little right side. Look at that loadout on that Stone Rhino. That is a lot of lasers that all got fired at once, and down goes Carbon almost immediately. Got into position, and now we're done. That is so wild. He died so fast. Just beware of those Alpha Strikes, friends. Get your mechs in the testing grounds. All right, next up, we've got Mantra versus the Potato Carry Society on HPG. We're taking a look. We've got Mantra with some well-established sniping positions here. And oh, hang on. Here comes the Potato Carry Society's jumping wolf pack, and they are going to go after Colonel David Renard here in the Stone Rhino. And look at this, down to 77% was basically fresh before, and we are going to go down to torsos. This is taking so long, probably should have gone legs, but lovely pick of Colonel David Renard. But hey, we're not done. Winter's Rigor in the Direwolf, another 100-tonner, already down to 70%, 60. Here comes Mantra's Wolfpack. They are going to try get Winter's Rigor. And as Mantra tries to punish them for this, we're going to see Potato Carry Society just jump off the wall, get away. Absolute lovely pick by the Potato Carry Society here. Well done. Next up, we've got Vigilance versus the 1st French Regiment, also on HPG. We see the 1st French there in the background. Looks like they are gathering for a basement push here. We see Vigilance with 6 of their 8 mechs on top, just kind of hanging out ready for it. Sorry, there's a couple underneath here as well, as the 1st French Regiment gets in on it. We see going for Theta, and now we're going to see Vigilance drop down, try to get some fights here, and 1st French are going to counter that and try to push them out of this corridor. We are going to see that they are going to be fairly successful on this Vile getting away here, but hang on. Here comes Next Comp in the Mislinks, and Arzak here just out in the open. Looks like Arzak might be stuck, probably legged, as Arzak tries to just fend off, do what damage he can. It's not going to be enough. Vigilance is going to take Arzak down, and this is the point of the clip. What does Vigilance do next? But they push immediately in. Earlier, if you were paying attention to the minimap, you're going to see them bring a 7th mech down for this fight to make it 7 versus 6. It is now 7 versus 5. 2 of the French mechs are still on the wall, and we see Vigilance just take over the basement, take down Cauterizer. They're going to take down a few more, and they are going to absolutely win this fight. All right, next up, we've got SRJ and Fjord. Fjord, a similar situation. This one's going to go the other way, though. So here we see Fjord pushing in. They are going to take down Pinky Feldman, who is now at 64%. Here we go. And Fjord is going to say, hey, now we push, but they are going to go the wrong way. They go down the choke point. They lose Butter. They lose Uguay. And now they are a mech down in this fight, and they go into the middle of the Jaegers. And this is what sort of spells the ends. At this point, they have no choice but to push through. I guess they could reverse, but then they've got a whole lot of mechs at their back. They should never have entered that position on that push. Their aggression was there, but as soon as they started to push, they lost 2 and totally lost that advantage, and then let SRJ have their back. Next up, we've got Vigilance and 1st French yet again, this time on Bear Claw. We're going to see some 1v1 action here. We've got a Locust who gets absolutely jumped by a flea looking for it. Here we go. Bravo, the flea still fairly fresh. And here we've got two medium pulse versus light machine gun Salith in the Locust. Gets legged there, and Arzok just kind of working around. Arzok gets legged, and Salith closes the deal. Honestly, that flea should have had the advantage, especially having had the jump. That is a great turnaround by Salith. Okay, now, next up, we have the 10th Lyran Guards versus Darksea Corsairs. Honestly, this whole match is the highlight. I'm not going to narrate through this. It is going to take too much time. This match was beautifully positioned by the Darksea Corsairs, and also they executed on that positioning. You're going to have to watch the entire match for that just to get the full effect here. I'm going to link it down below on both MWO Leagues and MWO Leagues 2. Check them both out. Both views have a lot to offer on this match. This is a case study, an absolute textbook match by the Darksea Corsairs. And now let's take a look at the state of the tournament. First up, we have Mantra versus the Potato Carry Society, which ended with Mantra carrying the potatoes 3-2. The only match this past weekend to go to all 5 drops. In the CS24 predictions polls, these teams were a straight 50-50 split over 82 votes, which I think was reflected in this match. Then we had the newly renamed 10th Lyran Guards Revenants versus the Darksea Corsairs, in which DSC was favored to win 83 to 17%. The Darksea Corsairs took that game 3-0 to move on in the winner's bracket to face Mantra the weekend after next. Then we had Vigilance versus the 1st French Regiment. The favorites, Vigilance, beat the regiment 3-0, moving them on to the winner of Fjord Visigoths versus KDCM of the long acronym, which went to the 72 to 28% underdog Fjord Visigoths. So we'll see Fjord and Vigilance square off the weekend after next as well. Next up, we have the 9th through 11th seed playoff tournament between the 228 Reapers, the Sky Ranger Jaegers, and Fjord Focus. 228 Reapers takes 9th seed with 2 wins, Sky Ranger Jaegers takes 10th with 1 win, and Fjord Focus takes 11th seed. These teams will face off against the teams who lost in the winner's bracket last weekend, along with the Blanner Observe Battalion this upcoming weekend. If you want to get in on voting for the predictions that I mentioned earlier, check out the MWO Comp Discord linked in the description. You'll find a CS24 predictions channel that has all these polls. Also in the Discord going on is the Battle of the Logos. Many teams put a lot of energy and resources into their logos, and this is a great way to show them off. Each team's logo is squared up against that team's opponent for that week, and the community votes on the winner based on how good the logo looks. And now, let's take a look at what's coming up this week. First up, we'll have the 1st French Regiment versus the Blanner Observe Battalion. Then, after a few hours break, we'll have the Revenants versus Fjord Focus, and then the Potato Carry Society versus Sky Ranger Jaegers. Then, wrapping up this coming weekend is KDCM versus the 228 Reapers. The stakes are high in these matches. Losers go home and cannot compete in the queue. The winners move on in the losers bracket and try to stave off elimination for another week. To see when these matches are in your local time, take a look at the tournament site linked in the description. There's a toggle in the upper right corner that will flip between UTC and your local time. Finally, let's take a look at the current prize pool. As of the time of recording, the total is $35,128 US. An additional 600 or so over last week. Let's keep this going. Half the proceeds for each tournament supporters pack is what goes into this prize pool for the competitors. This week I want to plug the Retro 2021 pack, which has a delightful war horn which will tell your opponents when they need to take a break or the current state of their mech. It also comes with all the 2021 goodies, a couple of 2024 cockpit item sets, a night gear, bunch of in-game currency, and premium time. Can't go wrong. And that'll do it for this week in Comp. Thank you again for watching, and as always, I'm Ivor, and I hope to see you on the field.